The Stoics never said desire itself was evil. They weren't monks telling you to renounce everything and sit in a cave. No, desire is more like fire. Warmth, light, energy. It can cook your food and keep you alive. But leave it untended and it'll burn your house down. That's how they saw it. The very thing that drives us to act, to chase, to build, is also the thing that leaves us restless, anxious, and disappointed. Think about it. Most of what we spend our lives wanting sits completely outside our control. Money, status, other people's approval, even our health to some extent. We cling to it all, and the moment fortune shifts, we're tossed around like a boat in a storm. One day you're up, a promotion, praise, whatever. The next, it slips away and you feel gutted. I've been there. It's exhausting. The Stoics noticed this cycle long before Instagram likes and office politics. They asked a deceptively simple question. What if we only wanted things that were actually within our control? What if, instead of being slaves to desire, we learned to master it, not kill it off? That's impossible, but train it. Aim it at the right things. That's the radical promise of Stoicism. It doesn't ask you to smother desire, but to re-educate it. The so-called secret to never being disappointed isn't magic, and it isn't denial. It's a way of rewiring how we relate to our wants, a kind of inner retraining. It's about cultivating clear thought, discipline, and this part is often overlooked, a surprising amount of compassion for yourself. Because it's not about beating yourself up for wanting the wrong things. It's about patiently steering yourself toward the right ones. And in this video, we're going to dig into the teachings of Epictetus, one of Stoicism's most practical and, frankly, blunt voices. He had a way of stripping down life's problems to their rawest form, and in the process, showing us how to avoid the disappointment trap altogether. Born a slave around 50 AD in Hierapolis, Phrygia, what is now modern-day Turkey, Epictetus lived a life that was a testament to his own philosophy. He endured the brutalities of slavery, including a deliberately broken leg that left him lame for life, and later, exile from Rome. Yet, from this position of utter powerlessness, he forged a philosophy of absolute inner freedom. His teachings, recorded by his student Arrian in the Discourses in the Enchiridion, or Handbook, are not abstract academic treatises. They are direct, often blunt, and intensely practical guides to living a good life. At the heart of Epictetus's philosophy is a simple, yet profound, observation about the nature of human suffering. Men are disturbed, he taught, not by things, but by the views which they take of them. The source of our frustration, anxiety, and disappointment is not the world itself, but our own judgments, and most importantly, our own desires. The problem, Epictetus argues, is one of misplaced desire. We consistently and tragically place our hopes for happiness in things that are fundamentally outside of our control. This is what Epictetus famously termed the dichotomy of control. It is the cornerstone of his entire ethical system, and the first, most crucial step toward mastering desire. He begins the Enchiridion with this stark distinction. Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions. For the Stoics, everything starts with a simple filter. Before you let yourself want something, ask, is this really up to me? If the answer's no, then wanting it is basically signing up for disappointment. Take something like a promotion at work. Sure, you can control how hard you work, the skills you sharpen, the way you show up as a solid teammate. All of that is squarely in your hands. But the final decision? That's on your boss. And your boss might be swayed by office politics, budget cuts, or, let's be honest, plain old favoritism. None of that is under your control. Most people, though, stake their happiness on the result. They don't get the promotion, and suddenly life feels unfair, the universe stacked against them. I felt that sting myself. It's brutal. The Stoic response, though, flips the script. They don't tie their self-worth to the outcome, but to the effort itself. Did I show up fully? Did I do my best? If yes, then I've already won. The promotion would be nice. It's what the Stoics called a preferred indifferent. But their peace doesn't hang on it. And here's where the real trouble comes in. We keep desiring things that are fragile. Money, gone in a market crash. Reputation, one bad rumor can undo years of hard work. Perfect health, Sorry, but time always wins that battle. And yet we chase them anyway, like we're bargaining with the laws of nature. Epictetus saw this for what it was: madness, like trying to will the sun not to set or demanding that winter never come. Impossible. And when we fight reality like that, we suffer. Our will slams against the world over and over, like waves crashing on rocks. No wonder so many of us feel constantly frustrated. The Stoics weren't trying to strip life of joy. They were just pointing out that most of our pain comes from betting on the wrong things. The pain of disappointment isn't the world punishing us. It's self-inflicted. It's the cost of a bad judgment. The belief that something outside our control was essential for happiness. Epictetus uses this hauntingly simple image: a clay cup. You can enjoy it, cherish it even, but don't forget, it's a cup and it can break. When you're fond of a favorite cup, he says, remind yourself it's just a cup. Then, if it breaks, you won't be wrecked. He takes it further with people. When you kiss your child or your partner, remember, you are kissing a human being. That means mortal, fragile, temporary. At first, it sounds brutally cold, almost inhuman, but it isn't. It's the opposite. It's a call to love fully, in the present, without clinging to the illusion of permanence, to stop demanding that people or things exist forever in perfect safety, and just hold them as they are, right now. By pointing to misplaced desire as the root problem, Epictetus flips the usual script. The task isn't to bend the world to our will, it's to reshape our will itself. The so-called secret to never being disappointed again isn't hoarding external wins. It's learning to want only what's truly ours to begin with: our choices, our character, our integrity. The rest, let it come or go. Once the Stoics nailed down misplaced desire as the culprit behind so much of our suffering, they didn't just shrug and say, well, guess we'll suffer then. They built an entire toolkit for retraining the way we want things. And here's the key. It wasn't about clenching your jaw and just resisting cravings. They weren't preaching brute willpower. No, it was more like rewiring, a slow, deliberate re-education of the mind. The end goal? A state they called apatheia. Not apathy, not some cold, emotional deadness, but this deep tranquility, freedom from those turbulent passions that yank us around. And they believed the way there was to align desire with reason and pour our energy only into what's actually good, our own virtue. Epictetus gives super practical advice on how to do this. He says basically put space between the spark and the flame. Don't act on the first impression. See a shiny object and feel that itch of desire? Don't grab at it. Tell yourself, hold on, impression. Wait, let me actually see what you are. That pause, that little breath of hesitation is where reason gets a fighting chance. And in that space, you remind yourself, the car is just metal, rubber, plastic. It's not going to make you a better person. The high you'll get from buying it? Temporary. But the stress of debt or the endless cycle of wanting more? That sticks around. And suddenly the thing doesn't look so irresistible anymore. Epictetus also knew that half of desire is imagination. We rarely want the thing itself. We want the dream wrapped around it. The car isn't just a car. It's freedom, admiration, maybe a little envy from the neighbors. So he suggests stripping all that down. Call things by their bare names. Fine wine, fermented grape juice, that luxurious robe, wool dyed with crushed shellfish. When you put it like that, the spell breaks a little. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy them, but it keeps you from bowing down to them as if they held the key to your happiness. The Stoics' big insight was this: if you want to bulletproof yourself against disappointment, stop chasing everything out there and focus on the one thing that's actually yours, your character. That's it. That's the one thing nobody can touch. Nobody can make you act unjustly. A tyrant could chain your body, but they can't chain your courage. The markets could collapse tomorrow, but your wisdom, untouched. And when you make virtue, justice, courage, wisdom, self-control the thing you actually desire, you've suddenly anchored your happiness to something solid, unshakable. Epictetus put it bluntly: if you want some good, get it from yourself. I love that line. It cuts through so much noise, because once you frame it this way, disappointment becomes almost impossible. How could you be let down if the very thing you want, the chance to be good, is available in every moment, no matter what's going on outside? You don't need the promotion, the applause, or even smooth sailing in life. You just need to act well, right here, right now. And that flips the whole game. The secret isn't getting what you want, it's wanting what you already own. Your choices, your integrity, the quality of your soul, if you want to put it that way. And honestly, there's something weirdly liberating in that, because it means even when everything else is falling apart, you can still win. The modern world is basically a factory for manufacturing desire and then monetizing it. Scroll long enough, and someone is selling you a version of happiness. The Stoic toolkit, though, offers a sharp counterpunch. It's not anti-modern, it's just a way to keep your sanity in the whirlwind of consumerism, instant gratification, and the relentless push to get more, more, more. Take consumerism. We're marinated in ads every day, shiny promises that happiness, fulfillment, even self-worth can be bought with the right product. And social media, it supercharges the whole thing. Everyone's highlight reels, curated lives, perfect vacations, it's envy on demand. The Stoic move here isn't cynicism, but conscious contentment. Run the dichotomy of control test and the whole illusion falls apart. That new phone, it's an external, a preferred indifferent at best. It doesn't touch your character. It won't make you wise or brave or kind. And your happiness, if you're honest, doesn't hinge on it. One of my favorite Stoic hacks for this is negative visualization. Seneca advised imagining the loss of the very things we treasure, our home, our job, even people we love. At first glance, yeah, it sounds morbid, but the point isn't to wallow, it's to toughen yourself up and deepen your gratitude. When you've spent 5 minutes vividly picturing life without your apartment, you come back to it with fresh eyes. Suddenly, it feels less like a cramped box and more like shelter, safety, warmth. And the itch for a bigger, fancier house, it quiets down. You start wanting what you already have. And that's a radical shift. Then there's stress, the modern epidemic. Most of it comes from obsessing over things way beyond our control. The stock market, politics, what random people think of us online. Epictetus' lesson here is gold. Strip it down. What part of this is actually mine to control? What part isn't? The moment you do that, it's like decluttering your brain. All that wasted energy on stuff you can't change gets freed up. The Stoic doesn't ignore problems. They just aim their effort where it counts, on their actions, their judgments, and practice acceptance of the rest. It's not passive, it's clarity. This brings us to maybe the most demanding and honest most beautiful of all the Stoic practices for handling desire, Amor Fati, the love of fate. Nietzsche gets most of the credit for popularizing it, but the idea itself runs deep in Stoicism. And here's the thing, it isn't just about gritting your teeth and saying, fine, I'll accept this. No, it's bolder than that. It's about loving whatever happens, almost as if you'd chosen it yourself. Imagine that. The Stoics saw the world as a rational, ordered whole, the logos, where every event is part of a larger, interconnected pattern. So to wish that something had gone differently is basically wishing the entire universe were different, which, well, good luck with that. Amor Fati asks us to flip how we see events. Lose your job? It's not just bad luck. It's a door opening, a chance to rethink where you're going. Hit with illness? Awful, yes, but also a test of courage, a reminder to savor being alive at all. Betrayed by someone close? As brutal as that feels, it's still an invitation to practice forgiveness, to grow resilience. You don't have to like the pain, but you can love what it makes possible. With that mindset, obstacles turn into stepping stones. And disappointment? It just doesn't stick. Because every outcome, even the rough ones, gets folded into your story as something necessary. There's a kind of radical freedom in that, the freedom that comes from wanting nothing other than exactly what is. And maybe that's the real conclusion here. Humans have been chasing the dream of a disappointment-free life forever. These days, we usually chase it outside ourselves. More money, more recognition, more stuff, more experiences. We keep telling ourselves that the next win, the next purchase, the next milestone will finally deliver contentment, but it never does. It's a treadmill. You run harder, you buy more, and somehow you're still hungry. Their answer wasn't external at all. It was internal. They argue that the secret to never being disappointed again isn't to bend the world to your will, but to bend your will toward the world. To want only what's already within your command, your choices, your virtue, your character. And if you can manage that, if you can genuinely learn to love fate, then disappointment isn't just avoidable. it becomes irrelevant. If ideas like these spark your curiosity, subscribe so you never miss the next big question. Watch the next video.